not here to give any big drushes, just saying, look covered, the Yartzeit of the Ari'Zal, since we are Kail Ari'Zal, and Be'ike we are always learning Tzairasei Shal Ari'Zal. So we are really celebrating his birth, his life, and his patira, Kol Yom V'Yom. And the biggest schus for us, maybe for him too, is that we learn his Torah. So this is just because it's his Yartzeit. It was brought down that the neshamas in Gan Eden come down to hear, to see, was tutzach b'chayev, not that they can't see from there, they could see from there too, but a certain kirvas elikim, they come down to see. So I don't really have a good story to say, because I didn't prepare my story. But I'll tell you over one small story, that there was a Yid who came to the Chernobyl Rebbe. And I'm saying to him, if I don't say it right, don't hold me to it. He came to the Chernobyl Rebbe. He was a groise Aisher, but he was as rich as he was, that's how big Am Haaretz he was. So he didn't know anything. And so he comes to the Rebbe, and the Rebbe says, "Oh, we need a Yeshua. We have to all go to Eretz Yisrael." Like, some people, the Anshe HaKailel, are always impressing on us to peacefully Yeshua, that we have to move to Eretz Yisrael, and that's where the Eke Geula will be, and everything else. And the Chernobyl Rebbe is telling us to this person who's a balabas. And balabas is telling him, he says, listen, my life here is pretty good. I have Parnasa here. What do I have to go there for? So he tells him, look at the Kazakhs, and they're always being ready for us, and all the tzaras that we have here, and everything else. The Rebbe tells him, no, you have to go. So he said, what about my cows and my sheep, and all the things that I have going on here? The Rebbe says, so you'll sell it all, and you take the money, and you'll go. So he says, I have to speak to my wife. So he goes home, and he speaks to his wife. And he comes back with a gewaldige eitzah. He says, my wife said a great idea. She said that you, Rebbe, who wants to go so badly, you should go. And you should take all the Kazakhs with you to Eretz Yisrael, and then we could live here in peace. So now, just a way of starting off the shtickle, Milsa de Bechusa, that about the Ike mitzvah is Tzipisa Yeshua, and the Ike Avodah of Tisha B'Av, and these 9 days, and in general, Rabbanu Shloim, all the tzaras we have is kaseh ka'asher yiyaseh ish es benoi. So it's Hashem Elokecha Ohavcha. I'm not sure if I'm saying it right, but that's the general. Every tzara that a person has. I came from a Beis Oval today. Nebuch, a guy lost his daughter who was like 40 years old, something like that. Left over, a bunch of children. We don't know cheshbainis. We don't understand why. But you have to always go in with that attitude that the Rabbanu Shloim is sending us Yisurim in order, first of all, to clean us. That's a madrega of vinake, and also it's giving us that this is the way to say the Habriya is. Everybody is here and everybody goes, but the idea is that we should acknowledge his existence, and that's the chilik why we say in general. From what we have and from what we don't have, and the things that we want and we don't have, and the things that we have and we don't want. So I just wanted to talk a little bit about the midah of shalom. Why shalom? Because as we know, Beis HaMikdash was destroyed als lack of shalom, and by us having shalom, so that will, so to speak, is the tikkun. Also, just agav, the word kinnis, when we say kinnis, is oisiyas tikkun. So you should be, when you say kinnis, you're going to be, so to speak, misakin, that all the pigumim that are happening. So, Pasuk tells us that, I'm looking now at, the Ramchal has a Maimah HaGeula, which is very much set up for these yomim, that we should have that cheshik, that big taiva for us, that we should always be mitzapel geula, and the cheshik for the geula. So I'm just going to say here over a lashon that he says, Ma'or echad tafas lai mokem barishayna, she'ein or achen nechshav lefanav neiroiv gadlusay v'sefartay v'nikra shem ha'ma'or hazeh shalom. So this inyan of shalom is from the highest madregas that can be, for a few reasons. First of all, we start off from two separate entities. Like it says in the pasuk, "Bari nifsasayim shalom shalom la rachik la karev." It says 2 times shalom. One is for the rachik, one for the karev. So you have to have a shalom when you're rachik, and you have to have shalom when you're karev. And as we all know, that the Rabban Shalom created high alma b'maskala, bit a yamin and a smile, the kava shlishi beineim. And what's the kava shlishi beineim? That is shalom. That is in other words, it's a mishkal, but the kava shlishi, you have the chesed and the din, they're coming together, so it's shalom. If you don't like the word peace, it's milashon shleimus, because that's the shleimus, because you're taking a piece of this and a piece of that, and that creates the shtickle shalom. What is the klipa? What is his ikka avaida? Because it says in the pasuk, Rabbas shachnan ala nafshi im saynei shalom. The klipa is a saynei shalom, because when there is no shalom, then it's olam hapirud. When it's olam hapirud, then we go out l'milchama, and that's when the tzad hatumah comes in. When there's no shalom and there's no shleimus, that means that we're opened ourselves up for all kinds of klipas to come in. When any time a person does an avera, what happens? Is that the shalom, the menucha v'shalva v'shalom, is not resting on him, and Mela was able to come into him that lack of shalom. Like it says in Kehelis, Eis Milchama, Eis Shalom, it says the Ramchal, that Lamed Yud Taf, which is Ishtay Shel Samach Mem, he Eis Milchama. So, and what's Shalom? The Shalom is Shechina Kedosha, who is Shalom. So you see, to what level are things going? It's not stam if I have an argument with you, so Eis Shalom. It's not that at all. The ikka is that if I have an argument with you, so it depends what the argument's about. I said this I didn't say it here, I said it somewhere else. B'negayat Tisha B'Av, I gave this mashal, if a person walks into a beis medrash, here in Lakewood, right? You have 1,000 guys sitting and learning, right? And of those 1,000 guys, you have, let's say, 20, 30 guys who are mamish screaming their heads off at each other, and they look like they're ready to beat each other up, right? So if you go into gas and you see 2 guys like that, they're going to beat each other up. And if you walk into a Gaisha library, right, in a university, there's not a pin drop, right? Shh, if you talk loud, they all tell you to be quiet. It's a library, people are studying, right? But you walk into a beis medrash, it's alive. And what happens with the people who are fighting? 2 minutes later, they're best friends. And so people who come from the outside, like they bring politicians to yeshiva, all these types of people, they can't understand it. How could I be fighting with you so stark for 1 second, for however long, and 2 minutes later we're best friends? Makes no sense. Answer is that Torah is hashlam as ha'adam. The Torah is shalom. So that's it's all a chelik of the shleimus of everything that goes on b'negeya these days. I wanted to add a few more things to it. As you know, that Tisha B'Av is the one day that comes out, no other yontif comes out in number 9. It doesn't happen. So Voltman gemeint that Tisha B'Av is really coming, like we said, Eis Milchama, right, is the ace of the Lamed Yud, right? So it's not La'amita Shel Davar, it's something we want to get rid of. But Tisha B'Av never goes away. It's Nepach, Miyoga, and L'Simcha. As you know, Chaysom Mishal HaKadosh Baruch Hu is Emes, and Emes, Mispah Katan, is number 9. So it's showing you that this thing of Tisha B'Av is Nitzchi, even though it won't be Yemei Evel, but it'll be Yemei Simcha. but the Tisha B'Av itself is the Nitzchi. And we need it as much as we need all the good things in life. We need the other side also. We need the Koyach HaTumah, we need the Koyach HaKlipa. Why? As you know, we say many times, Litin Tzchal Tzadikim, Einish L'Rishoim. You have to have the two sides. Otherwise, what are we doing here? And the other thing I wanted to say also, just as I said it over last night, but I think it's a good word, Kedai to say it again. B'Negeya, why the Torah starts with a Beis, and the Anochi starts with an Aleph. Whoever heard it already is Man Shuldigan. I'm saying it again because I think it's good enough to say over again. Torah starts with a Beis Bereshis. Why? Dr. Zohar brought down in a Medrash also that Beis is bracha. And since Aleph is Arur, so you can't start the Torah with an Aleph because it's Arur. The last time I checked, there's other words that start with Aleph. There's Anochi Hashem Leikecha, right? Well, why did after we pick Arur? So Beis is bracha, right? Beis is bracha, right? What is bracha? Bracha is Taish Riboy, more, right? I have more children, I have more money, I have more svarim, I have more, and more and more and more and more. That's bracha. Arur is less. It doesn't grow. This is what it is. If you have a ground by your house or whatever it is, and it doesn't grow anything, that's like a Arur, because nothing's growing from the ground. And the reason why the Torah has to start with a Beis, because every piece of Torah is riboy upon riboy upon riboy. You have a kasha, you have a teres, people are writing new svarim every single day. There's 20 new svarim coming out, the new teres and everything else. That is riboy. That's why Torah has to start with a Beis. Masha Enkein, the Aleph of Anochi. Anochi is one. Akudsha Brichut is one. There'll always be one. There'll never be more than one. Chas v'shalom, it's not Arur, but it's only one. It can't be a riboy. Afhai Alma, it doesn't go under the side of riboy. So you must come that it's a good word.
That's why Av Harach is going from Aleph to Beis.
If you look at my safe, I have all shtick on that. Difference between Av and Bay. Also a thing on it. Okay. He's better. But anyway. Okay, there's also Nachazach that it says in the Pasuk that Hine Enochi Noisen Shalom Ba'aretz. Shalom is considered the Duchra. That's what he says. And Eretz, as you know, is the Nukva. Right? So Enochi Noisen Shalom Ba'aretz. Yisoid is Shalom. Why is Yisoid Shalom? Because everything is coming together. All the spheres on top of that is coming together, and it's becoming all coming together. B'chinas Shalom, which is Yisoid. And then Yisoid gives over to the Eretz, right? So Shalom is Yisoid, and it's giving over to the Eretz, and therefore, since it's giving over to the Eretz, so that's a Zivuk, that's a Yichud, right? So that's how you see that in every chelik of our lives, this Shalom Ba'aretz doesn't mean there just be peace in the land. Yeah, of course there should be peace in the land, but the Ikka is that it should be by us. Everything should be that way. I'm going to say another thing that right? What's the avodah now that we're doing? What is that avodah? That Rebbeinu Shloim, since he lost his Beis Hamikdash, so where is the Shechina? Where is it resting b'tachtonim? The place it's resting b'tachtonim is inside every person, individual. So I'll ask you a question. If you're a gvir and you're used to always going to 5-star hotels, would you have a minute to go to a 1-star hotel? Oh, why should you? I could afford this pas minish to go to a Shvacha hotel. Each person is becoming Yena hotel. Are you considered a 5-star hotel that everybody should come have a Shechina b'tachtonim in you, or are you a 1-star hotel? So if you're busy running, making money your whole life and not doing anything, l'shem Torah, l'shem mitzvah, anything else, so Rebbeinu Shlomo he'll come by, he'll visit. He won't, he's not going to stick around too long. But if a guy is sitting and learning Yom V'Layla and he's Meiser Nefesh for Torah his whole life, he's a 5-star hotel. So then it's Taka Shechina b'tachtonim. So now that Shechinta B'Galusa, so we have to try to make him feel comfortable, make him feel at home. Shechinta B'Galusa is that he's to come inside us. And that's the avodah of these days that Nebuch, the Rebbeinu Shloim, is far away from us because of our Averis. And the reason why why do we have to have Tisha B'Av every year? Have to be Misabel Yerushalayim every single year? It says that it's his Eiris for Tshuva, it's a Hachana for El. When I was in Yeshiva, Ramei HaChadosh was my Mashgiach. He would tell me that the day after Tisha B'Av, they took one day off, and then was started El. Hachana la'el. The 3 weeks afterwards, Hachana la'el. And then when El came with such a pachad neira in the yeshiva, so like it was not shaykh to imagine it. So you have to think of this also. This is the pre-Hachana la'el. So anyways, I just wanted to say that Mr. Hashem should be zeicha liras Yerushalayim b'kiyuma, and of course Yerushalayim b'kiyuma means that the whole Eretz Yisrael be filled with Torah and mitzvahs and ma'asim tovim, and the mekatrigim and the erev rav that's all out there will be going away, right? And we're all going to move there, and Rabbi Yishai is going to buy everybody tickets, and Mr. Hashem, you should all be zeichet to see Mashiach b'mheir yameinu.
Amen.
Okay.
Very good.